What's up, guys? Currently here live in the outer islands of Sarasota, Florida, currently. Just gonna go over a few things with you guys as well as we're kind of tracking our hurricane here. 1 second. Hurricane Milton is definitely getting its act together out there. But we're currently here on the outer islands here of Anna Maria. I think that's how I'm pronouncing it right. The outer islands here in Sarasota. This is previous damage from Hurricane Helene, actually. Parts of this guard shack or um, whatever it used to be. Definitely a substantial damage here from Hurricane Helene when the storm surge came over these outer islands from before. So they're currently trying to get as much debris and kind of areas where stuff is going to be flying and become obstacle objects. They're going to be flying out there in the wind when Hurricane Milton does come in, if it's going to be, further north or further south of this area. But currently on the outer islands here out from Sarasota, Florida, and Anna Maria, Longboat, these other outer islands here, there's still a lot of debris and pile-ups of people's furnitures and belongings that are waiting to be picked up by the DOT out here, Department of Transportation, I guess, and some other people and volunteers are working on getting a lot of stuff done for the most part. Um, but there is debris. They're cleaning it up really nicely. There's still a lot of sand in a lot of these areas and homes out here. I mean, once this hurricane does come in, this area once again will be affected by significant storm surge and probably a lot worse than what Hurricane Helene did. So I'm really worried about these outer islands here. Latest track on the system here, as you can see in the visible satellite down there, Hurricane Milton is definitely getting its act together right there. Really explosive convection there, firing around the center. I wouldn't be surprised we actually start seeing an eye late tonight or tomorrow morning as well. Um, but it's really definitely looking healthy as a system. Currently looking at some other things here. But the current track is still down here, um, which is fine. But there's a possibility that this track is going to shift further north. And, there's a couple of these hurricane forecast models down here. Keep going back and forth, and you actually have the GFS, the European model as well, going back and forth as well. Um, so there's the possibility that it could shift back north at the last second. Even up to 12 hours in advance. Only give me that much leeway time. That let's say the system goes back a little bit north towards Tampa. And then you also have everywhere south of that area. So like Sarasota down here, you got St. Petersburg, the huge bridge as well, probably going to be shut down way in advance as well. Um, all this area down here, if the system goes a little bit more further north than where the current track is down here to the south, then all this area here would see significant storm surge. Now, if the system tracks a little bit south, and let's say the center passes right over here in Sarasota, that means Fort Myers, all those areas, Port Charlotte, all those areas to the south will see significant storm surge. And that's what we're currently watching to see what the forecast track is with that currently. Currently looking at a couple other things as well. Like I said, looking at the latest hurricane forecast models and ensemble means here, the system is either going to be Tampa, anywhere making landfall from Tampa to Sarasota. And, maybe the system goes further south before it even gets here at this point, right? I think the main thing is watching the intensity, how far this does really further intensify. If it does go Category 5 or Category 4 high end out in the Southern Gulf, how much does it weaken when it gets closer to the coast of Florida due to some wind shear or some dry air infiltrating the center or the southwest side? There's a possibility, but then some of the models started backing off on that. Let's say the system comes in as a high-end Cat 4 into the west coast of Florida. You would see devastation here in the same areas that were affected by Helene. 100%. I mean, the system's going to take off and go across the whole entire state anyway, and then exit off the east coast of Florida as a Category 1. So it's going to go across the whole state of Florida, of average wind gusts here over 70 miles an hour. Just, the general area, when the system crosses over, you're going to see average, above 70 mile gusts, and obviously there's going to be more higher gusts than that, closer to the center of the eye wall, of course, and those outer bands of rain showers that come in. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually start seeing tropical force winds here in this area and even in Tampa Bay as early as Tuesday late night or Tuesday evening. We could see tropical force winds. Um, but that's all the time to come. There's still 2 days in advance. A lot of things can change at this point. But I'm down here now, and at this point, we're just waiting to see what else happens, how further this system does intensify here. You know, but there's a lot of damage here on these outer islands outside of Sarasota from Helene. The guard shack here. Um, You got trees here that were recently here that are uprooted. A lot of rocks here that were displaced. This water definitely came in, and even during the high tide, this water was all the way up over this road, and then started going into all these homes behind me as well. So there's a lot of homes here that are just completely rubble at this point and significant damage from before. So um, there's a lot of sad scenes here, but we're going to be out here covering and shooting coverage of this system, and hopefully you guys get to see everything that I'm definitely seeing, but it's going to be a lot worse between, Milton coming in and, you got Helene that did the surge damage down here to the south. So, but currently just looking at the current track and looking at some of these forecast models here. We go over here real quick. Here's just visible satellites showing the hurricane actually getting its act together here. Um, Still no hurricane watches or storm surge watches yet posted for the west coast of Florida. Um, but it's coming. You can see the track here is expected to become a major hurricane starting at 1 p.m. on Monday. So this system is really going to rapidly intensify here pretty quick. And the latest NHC forecast does have this system becoming a major hurricane as early as early day on Monday, which is tomorrow. So everything's starting to continue to uptrend more. Everything's getting a lot worse. At this point, it's just waiting to see how strong does this system actually make landfall on the west coast of Florida. If it's further south, then it's not going to get as much shear. If it comes in quicker, it could dodge the shear as well. Or maybe it just ignores the shear overall like Hurricane Beryl did when there was a ton of shear. Hurricane Beryl was dealing with 30 knot shear in the Gulf, not the Gulf, but the Caribbean, and it still held its structure and still intensified at the same time before it interacted with land near Cancun. I don't know if that's going to be the same scenario at this time, but like I said, it's just a waiting game. We have to watch and see what happens at this point. Um, but that's pretty much all the details I have for you right now at this point. Just watching the intensity, watching the current track. Um, Everything's going to start taking off to the roof here pretty soon. Starting late tonight, the system's really going to start undergoing more rapid intensification. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see an eye poking out late tonight or early tomorrow morning at this point. I'm looking at a couple of these hurricane forecast models as well. Um, Here's Milton. This is the 12Z run. Looks like it got more intense with the HRW. An HRW model has it coming in as a cat borderline 4 and 3, maybe, but the other models, some of the models show anywhere between 3 and 5 coming inland to the west coast of Florida on Wednesday. Some models say Thursday morning. I don't know. It just depends on, how fast the system speeds up, how slow it's moving. But all the models have different timings. All the models have different positioning. I think we really have to wait till the recon data gets ingested into the hurricane forecast models probably late tonight on the 00Z runs, and we'll really start to see if they're consistent with the current tracks or if they change significantly because we have recon data on these hurricane forecast models that are coming in on the 00Z runs. Going over here to the H1 run, still being consistently north as well. the HA. Hold on. Always connection errors. Oh, here's the HA. Well, I'm having connection errors right now for some reason. Interruption a little bit. Here's the HA. Coming in a little bit north like the HW. So we'll see if the NHC track does shift a little bit more north later on, or if this is just like, maybe they're just waiting to see if this is just a glitch at this point and it goes back south anyway. Um, but you can see if it did take a northerly track, then that means all St. Petersburg and Clearwater would be in some significant storm surge, that onshore flow there. But they currently have their track to the south. So I'm not going to give any more specific details because, like I said, I still think this track is still going to wobble a lot even before. So it's either going to be closer to Tampa or on the north side of Tampa, or it's going to be closer to Sarasota having landfall. So anywhere between Crystal River all the way down to Sarasota is a possibility of a landfall of this hurricane. We will not know for sure till at least 12 hours in advance. I mean, this system is just, it's all over the place with these forecast models, and I think we'll have a better understanding at least 12 to 24 hours in advance, especially with the Hurricane Recon model. Um, Hurricane Recon giving data to the hurricane forecast models when they come out on the 00Z runs, and then into tomorrow as well, midday, because they have more recon missions and flights to go in there, especially throughout the week till the system gets here, of course. But I think that's what we're doing at this point, just waiting. Stay tuned for later